when you're lost and Google Maps cannot help you, and you absolutely need to ask for directions from someone, try to ask directions from someone who's sitting behind the counter. That way they can't follow you. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. My name is Alma Asinobi, and in this video I'm going to be sharing some of the safety precautions that I take and I have taken whenever I am or whenever I was traveling as a black woman solo in Africa. Now, I have hesitated to make this video or share these tips because I feel like, a lot of people have taken all these precautions and still ended up in danger. And but then I read a story recently on Twitter and it just prompted me to just put this out there in case anyone was wondering some of the things you could do, some of the things that I do when I'm traveling alone, right? So let's get into it. So the first thing I would say is try as much as possible to blend in. If you're going to a country where there are conservative people, the women dress conservatively, dress such. If you are going to a place that is really bright, there are a lot of colors, a lot of people are going to be wearing flashy colors and bright colors and all of those things, blend in. As much as possible, just try to wear their clothes, explore their culture in a way that, it's not like you sticking out. It could make you a target unnecessarily, so just try as much as possible to blend in. For content creators, especially if you're going to be carrying cameras and tripod and all of those equipment outside, if you're alone and you're a woman, it's just not safe. I would prefer it if you carried, not that I would prefer it actually, like that's what I would do anyway, like use your phone to record when you're outside. When you're at your hotel or around, you could do that, but when you're outside, especially in busy places, try as much as possible, use smaller devices, use smaller cameras, to avoid drawing attention. Now, the second thing I would say is avoid taking the same routes every day. So especially if you're staying somewhere long term, like maybe you're staying for 2 weeks, stay for 3 weeks, or a month, or 3 or 5 or 6 months, as much as possible, just avoid going back and forth one particular route every single day. It would it's just a precaution that I would suggest, such that you confuse the system. So people exactly know that okay, this particular person comes here back and forth, and she's always alone. So you just minimize exposure with that. Now, the third thing I would say is make connections while you're traveling. Talk to locals, talk to other travelers, maybe your tour group in your hotel, especially families. Actually, make friends with them, talk to them, like create some sort of it doesn't have to be like, oh, you trying to be their bestie or anything, but just create an established connection with people that you meet in the hotel, or say hi, or don't just be an island or just zombie your way through everything. So just create that connection, because it could come in handy later. As much as possible, personally, when I went to Senegal, I had already spoken to Morel, my photographer. We're going to create content and all of that. So it's not exactly like I trusted him. Like, I met him on Instagram just from the get-go. Like, I never knew him from anywhere. So when I got to Senegal, I met him at in a public location, and then we talked for a while, and then we spent the day creating content, and then I got to know him better. He gave me some tips about navigating the city, where to go, don't go here, you can't film with cameras here, blah blah blah. So we had that connection. I had his number on WhatsApp, and I had his phone number, and then we could talk, we could communicate throughout my stay in Senegal. So it was just very convenient that I had someone who was in Senegal at the time who could speak French and speak English perfectly and could help me navigate the whole thing. So if anything happened, I knew that I could call Morel, and then I could get help to the best of his own ability. So it's something that I recommend for solo female travelers to do, especially if you're traveling within Africa. So the next thing I would say is, when you're lost and Google Maps cannot help you, and you absolutely need to ask for directions from someone, try to ask directions from someone who's sitting behind the counter. So someone who is at their duty post. That way they can't follow you. if you had to ask any random person on the street, they were like, oh, sure. Especially if they had an ulterior motive, they'd be like, oh, sure, yeah, don't worry, I'm going in that direction. Let me follow you. So as much as possible, ask for directions from someone who's behind the counter. Walk into somewhere, walk into a shop, walk into somewhere, ask them. If you can ask a woman, better. Just try as much as possible to, discern, right? If you see someone and you just don't feel comfortable, don't. Trust your gut. That's the only thing you have literally on that trip. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is be very particular about your hotel. So when you're traveling solo, it's already expensive traveling solo, and I know that booking big name hotels could be even more expensive. You don't have anyone to split the cost with or anything, but I would actually highly recommend that you book big name hotels that actually have something to lose. Book them Hilton, Marriott, Movenpick, hotels like that, as opposed to booking like a new resort or booking somewhere that may just be in an obscure location, and you cannot exactly the benefit of booking these kind of hotels is that you get an extent or a level of professionalism from them that you may not get in the smaller ones. Another thing is that they usually have those like big, like corporate big ass hotels usually have the bolts thingy at the back of the, like, in the room, so when you lock your door you can bolt it. And there are other equipment that you can buy. I saw someone plug something on Amazon that goes off, an alarm that goes off when someone opens your door. I will link it in the description if I find it. But yeah, so you can bolt the door from inside, and yeah, especially if you're by yourself. So yes, it's expensive to book hotels like that, but how much is your safety again? Same goes for tours and tour guides and like tour companies. Book reputable brands for your hotel, for your brand, for your tours, for your accommodation, for everything. As much as possible, just book reputable brands. Use them Uber and Bolt if you're navigating the city. Use reputable brands. It just helps. Read reviews from people who have been there, or people who have used their services, and then make your judgment calls from there. So the next tip is a very sad one, but it's somewhat necessary in some cases. As much as possible, avoid giving off the information that you're by yourself and you're traveling solo, especially as a woman. Give them the impression that someone is coming to join you, or someone is coming to check in later, or maybe like your friend group is coming and they're going to be here soon, or stuff like that. Like, just give the impression. You don't have to say it outrightly, you don't have to lie, but you can just like, your mannerism would actually tell, oh, I'm alone or I'm not alone. As much as possible, when the need arises, do not give the impression that you're by yourself, especially to the hotel staff, to the people around, like to the people who know their way around that place. It's just not safe. You can meet another solo female traveler, and like you guys bond on the fact that you're by yourself and you're far away, and then you guys make friends, and then huzzah, you're no longer by yourself. So yeah. But yeah, that's something that generally should not even be said, but here we are. Okay, so that brings me to the next thing. Stay connected. Like, prioritize your Wi-Fi, mobile data, get a SIM. Make sure that at all times that you are connected to the internet. If through the reviews you can find if people found the Wi-Fi good or it was bad, or maybe there was no Wi-Fi in the facility at all or something, but make sure that every Airbnb that you're going to, or the hotel or anything, make sure that you read the reviews and be particular about the Wi-Fi. Get a SIM. Stay connected. By all means, make sure that you are connected to the internet and you're connected to home. Next thing is to update people at home regularly. So you can have a friend that you call every day by 9 p.m. or every day by 10 p.m. or you text them. Even if it's like a thumbs up, like you guys have a goal, like, oh, I'm just going to text you a thumbs up every day by 10 p.m. You know that I'm fine. And then any day that you don't text them, they will text you back and, hey, what's up? Are you okay? Are you good? You might get like caught up in what you're doing that day and forget to text, but it's just a good thing to have at the back of your mind that someone is back at home looking out for you. So the next thing is to do your research as much as possible. Know the routes that are safe, the routes that are not safe, from people's reviews. Take reviews seriously, especially from solo female travelers. Follow people on the internet who have done things that you plan to do. It just makes sense that if you're traveling to Senegal, or you're traveling to Rwanda, or you're traveling to Kenya, and a woman traveled there solo recently, that you follow her content and look through everything. You don't have to follow her if you don't want to follow her, but like look through the content that she has created read everything that she has written on her blog, her YouTube channel, watch her videos, do everything, and make sure you have as much research done as possible. Take those reviews very seriously, because normal, like, people in the country could lie about, oh, we have a 5-star, it's people's experiences that should count for you. People who are strangers also, that you soon be. So it just makes sense to take their reviews and their recommendations more seriously. Make sure that you know, oh, these routes are not safe, this is just read, do your research. It's very important. Okay, the last thing I'm going to talk about is emergency numbers. Know the emergency numbers in every place that you're going to. Sometimes the emergency numbers, most times the emergency numbers differ by state, and then they're, general, like, federal emergency numbers that you can call wherever you are, and then they'll connect you to the one that you need to be connected to. But make sure that you have emergency numbers, make sure that you have travel insurance, make sure that you have all of these things booked and packed and ready, because you never really know when the rainy day would be. You might not have any rainy day, luckily, and I don't pray for any of you to have any rainy day, but it's important that you are prepared and you stay ready in case anything pops up. In case I've read of incidents where people had accidents, like really, really, really terrible accidents while they were on their trips, and then if they didn't have travel insurance, they would have had a harder time trying to get help. So yeah, these are not like exhaustive points, and I think there's still more. There's a lot of things that we can do to stay safer, but these are some of the things that I have done that have helped me. These are some of the things that I keep at the back of my mind when I'm traveling, or keep in mind. Why do I keep saying at the back of my mind? But yeah, these are things that I keep in mind when I'm traveling alone, especially within Africa. Times are evil. People can be very wicked, so try as much as possible to do your own part. It's actually very pathetic that we have to be telling the victims what to do to not be preyed on by predators, but this is the world that we live in, and I just felt like it would be a disservice if there's some things that I have, like, in my arsenal, there's some things that I do, there's some precautions that I take that I have not shared. So yeah, this is me just sharing some of the things that I have done, some of the things that I know, some of the things that I think would help you if you're traveling solo as a woman, especially in Africa. So that's it for me. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me on travel, lifestyle, and improving your life in general. I'd like to see you in my next video, so please stop by again. For now,